Right, so first things first, welcome back to the Negotiation Club. So what we have here today is we have both Faith and Jack, who are going to practice their negotiation skills in our 4-minute little activity here. And we're going to then, Fred and I are going to then review this. To get started, I have the seller's card. So Faith, if you could just look away for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, Jack, you have a break-even point.
Lovely, thank you.
You need to negotiate above that. And as a tactic, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Faith, you can look back now. Jack, if you look away just for a second. So Faith, you have a break-even or a budget.
Okie dokie, thank you. Perfect, yeah, I've got that, thank you.
And a tactic for you.
Yay, perfect, thank you. Thank you, that's perfect, yes. Wonderful.
Okay, so Jack, you can look back. So 4 minutes to negotiate. You're looking to agree a satisfactory price per ton of apples. You have a tactic each to practice with purpose, and your time starts now.
Hi,
hey, it's nice to meet you. Not very
Likewise,
bad,
nice to meet you.
Well, my name's Jack. I'm glad you have come to my business to potentially start a future relationship and buy some of my stock.
Yes. Well, hi Jack, I'm
stock.
Faith. I'm Faith Brynel. Yes, I'm very excited to be having this meeting today, this conversation, albeit virtually, due to COVID-19 and such. But yes, let's just get stuck in. Yeah, so I'm looking for some like a mixture of green and red apples, because I'm going to be making some apple pies for an upcoming competition, obviously post COVID-19. But I want to make sure that I have all of my resources sorted. But yes, can you kind of talk to me about the kind of, about kind of an overview of your apples, where they're from and things like that for us, please?
We have, they start as a differing, they're of a differing quality, and I'd like to emphasize you do get what you pay for. However, this is the first time we have met, and hopefully this is the start of something new for us. Our apples are locally sourced and they are ethically farmed as well, which I also do emphasize. We've had, it's about good weather despite the wet weather recently. The sun is coming out now, which I think is good for the quality of our apples. So I think you should be getting the premium quality apples, and I think that's what you should be aiming for. In terms of a price point, I'd just like to know what you are thinking and what sort of quality you are after.
That is a very good question. Let me think about that. Yes, so let me just return to the context of the apples and why I need them. So they're for a competition, so people will be using these apples to kind of make their best apple pie. Now, it doesn't need to be premium apples because it's just going to be tasted by the judges. I don't think that anyone's really going to take them home or anything. So I'd say, do you have like a kind of some apples that aren't obviously your worst, but they aren't your best, like a middle range, any middle range apples that you can offer us?
We do, but if I could just first return to your first point, if it's a competition and people are tasting apples, surely you'd want the most premium apples for the best taste. Would you not agree?
That's a fair point. However, I would say that obviously quality is good but I think what we really want to showcase is the person's individual skill in terms of how they can really use the apples they have, even if they're okay quality, and really make it into something better. So I think obviously we're here because it's apple pies, but we kind of want to see what other ingredients, what other seasonings they can bring to the table to really personalize this apple pie and really make sure it really speaks to them and really represents them in the best way possible. So I can consider premium, but I'm just thinking about really obviously the purpose of what it's for and who's really going to be eating them, tasting them as well.
Of course, no, I fully understand your point, and returning to the point of people representing themselves, I think the best way for people to represent themselves with food is with the best quality food, the best quality ingredients, get the best quality results. Surely you'd agree on that as well?
I mean, it's an interesting point. I think after consideration, I think even if you had, I think, yeah, it's a fair point. But I think for me, the main ethos and the main kind of point of the competition is to really see what the participants can bring to the table aside from the apples as well. But I am still interested in purchasing some apples from yourself, obviously because we need them for the apple pie.
Of course, yeah, I think, you know, this would be a good bit of publicity here with ethically sourced apples and also high quality ingredients. I think that would be a good that's good branding for your competition. However, time has run out, so I think we should really reschedule another meeting.
We definitely should, Jack. Have a great day and enjoy your week.
You too. That was the quickest 4 minutes of my life, that was. I can't believe how quickly that went.
Oh, that flew by.
Yeah, it's been a couple of months since you've had a go at this. The 4 minutes does go particularly.
It's absolutely flew.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, did I manage to do what I was trying to do?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
The interesting thing, of course, is that the more times you practice it, the more you can start to just, okay, you can just focus on what you're trying to do. When you have large gaps between practice, you're almost having to get back into the habit.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is really telling you that you haven't done it for a while. You need to go about and try and practice it again. However, we had a couple of tactics here that we were trying to practice on purpose. Faith, you had pause, consider, respond. And Jack, you had broken record. Okay. Now, pause, consider, and respond is very much kind of a good practice. It's just a reminder to slow down. Take a breather. What did you just hear? Why did you hear that? What are you going to say in response? Why are you going to say that in response? Okay, and it really is a kind of like just slow it down. The broken record, Jack, is another one where you kind of emphasize and emphasize and emphasize and emphasize the same points, driving some elements into the negotiation. So you want them to realize, you want them to focus on something. So I'm going to ask, first of all, Faith.
Yeah.
Pause, consider, respond. How did you get on with that one?
Yeah, like I tried to not be too slow and then not be too fast. So it's like finding that balance between them. So obviously, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I was like, okay, that's a good question. So I was trying to think about, obviously, consider like you need to slow down, you need to pause first, you need to consider the question or the statement that's just been put forward, and then you have to respond in a timely manner as well. So I didn't want to rush the decision. And then I remembered before you told me that, I think before when I did this in like March, someone suggested a price and I went for it like immediately without giving myself that time to think about it. So I thought, let me take into account Phil's previous feedback. So it's like kind of like, do I respond now? But I wasn't sure how long do I leave it to actually respond to the person I'm negotiating with. So yeah, it was an interesting thing, and hopefully I did it well, which is one of the main things.
You did. I agree. I think you did. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think if you go back to the video and have a look at it, you can see how that actually works. I mean, you're definitely an individual with lots of energy, right? And that energy comes through. So I would imagine slowing down is actually kind of a tougher thing to do, maybe, just to really try and slow it down. So I'd have a look at that as well. Jack, what about you? How did you go with your broken record?
Well, you know, I was basically either trying to drum in quality or ethically sourced goods, and sort of the, you know, once the whole story about the competition, I think, you know, I sort of departed from the ethically sourced a little bit and tried to drum in quality, and but the main element I think of the broken record is persuasion. You're just really trying to drum in my opinion, it's just trying to drum in one word or one concept into, you know, your fellow negotiator as much as possible. I feel like I was starting to sound like a broken record.
Yeah.
I wasn't keeping a tally of how many times I said quality, but I mean,
yeah, premium as well, quality and premium.
Yeah, premium as well. Yeah.
Fred, thoughts from you?
So, really interesting. Definitely saw broken record, but broken record is a negotiation tactic. And what you guys were having, or where you started off and actually stayed and never got into, well, you stayed in sales. Yeah. So normally we do in these things, you do sales very, very quickly because you kind of agree, yeah, we want to buy some apples and we move into it. Basically, what I watched was a sales conversation. Yeah. And the broken record isn't a good thing to be doing in sales, because what happens is you become quite belligerent. And that's not what she needs. It's not what she wants. And if you keep trying to batter that down, that soon pisses people off. Yeah. And it's not what we would train people to do. Yeah. That's your kind of your 80s. I'm going to manipulate you. I'm going to close you. I'm going to kind of arm wrestle you until you give in. It's very deliberate negotiation, because what you're doing is you're saying, no, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. But in the sales conversation, which is the first part, you know, the two are part and parcel. Yeah. Sales gets you to the point of agreement, as in, yeah, we are going to do work, but we've got to just get the T's and C's right. We just got to get the conditions. So by being, no, it's that, it's that, it's that. You go, I don't need that. I don't want that. Stop. You know, and you know, which is great. You know, it's a really good thing to be able to understand that. Because when you watch it back and look at it like that, you'll probably cringe a little bit, because you're using some language like, would you not agree? Surely you'd agree. That's quite manipulative. That's quite pushy. That's the stuff which people rail against salespeople for doing, and we don't train that. So when you're trying to persuade somebody, use the word influence. Okay. Now, influence comes from Latin influere, or Spanish. I speak Spanish. So Spanish influere. It's like being in flow. So if you imagine, if somebody's like a river and you're trying to stop the river, if you build a dam, the river's going to knock the dam down anyway. It's not a clever way of operating. Whereas if you get in flow with the river and just kind of divert it a little bit, yeah, you go with the flow of it, it's far easier to get people to where you both want to be. So rather than going, no premium, no premium, no premium, it's competition. Okay, so you want pretty good for the competition so that people can do a really good job in it. Yeah, so you're still sort of positioning you'll need something good, but you're not being so in their face like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I totally agree with what you're saying. Yeah. On reflection now, I think, you know, what I was trying to drum in or whatever was just completely the wrong thing. It's, you know.
It's why we practice, which is why it's such a good one to watch. I mean, as a sales person, it's brilliant because I could pick up on so many things, you know. And when you watch it, you'll go, yeah, get you what you're doing on there.
Yeah.
We want to. There's an expression we use in sales, which is, well, used in medicine actually. Prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. So if you're rocking up going, you need premium, you need premium, you need premium, you go, what, you don't? Why'd you keep saying that to me? Yeah, they turn off quite quickly. But look, it's brilliant that you were trying to practice that. And I think with that mindset you've got, when you go into the negotiation piece where it's, no, I can't go lower than that. No, I cannot go lower than that. No, I can't go lower than that. That's when you use your stuck record. And you'll be brilliant at it. But it's just a different thing between the negotiation and sales stuff.
Okay, no, yeah, I get that the distinction you're making now. That's a lot clearer. Yeah, thank you.
Cool, good, great. And you've got all that in 4 minutes. Happy days.
Yeah, look, I mean, the whole point is that 4 minutes is to try these things out. Whether you get it right or not, it's the fact that you're trying it, and that's why you learn. You learn from that. Just picking on what Fred said there, you did refer to quite a lot. I think you would agree, or wouldn't you agree? I'm just going to ask you, why that terminology? It's not generally what you hear all the time. Why were you picking that terminology? Because you repeat it a few times.
I think, well, obviously now I know that it was, you know, perhaps not the right thing to do, but it was just trying to persuade Faith to maybe go for the premium and sort of, you know, slowly get her into my train of thought rather than and go for the premium and high quality sort of produce rather than go for the middle range. So, you know, I was just trying to basically get her to believe that she needed the high quality produce. So it was sort of like, I mean, to put it bluntly, sort of like leading her on. That wasn't my intention to start, but, you know, if on reflection, you can put it like that.
Question I got for you then. I mean, obviously you're a law student. It felt like law language in a way. I mean, I might be pretty wrong here, but it felt as if it was almost like the lawyer leading on in that sense.
No, you're definitely right there. I think you are right. Yeah. I do agree.
Wouldn't you agree?
You agree? Right. Okay.
It is, and I'm not an expert in law, and I don't know how questioning and sort of questioning in court and that sort of thing is trained, and it might be a different thing, because absolutely you want to lead somebody and you want to take them to that, and you want to make them agree if they don't agree. But that's not what we do in professional sales now. It is what's got sales a bad name. We're like, no, people buy because they need something or they want something. Yeah, and it's an emotional decision. People pretend it's logical. It's not. It's always emotional. Phil will say it's logical, but yeah, he doesn't know how he thinks. Or he's a robot. No, so it's interesting, and I was wondering that as well. So that's pretty cool.
Now, what I would say is that, Faith, obviously, you kept getting asked these questions, but you really stuck to your guns as well. You know, which is good, because there was an element of pressure being put on you about these premium, but you were kind of really sticking to it. Now, competition, not really going to be bothered about that, and that is absolutely fine. So again, it's worth practicing against somebody who's potentially putting that pressure on. So well done. I would probably just challenge that pause, consider, respond. I would just suggest maybe really slowing it down. Take a breath before you respond. Okay, because I was actually, I mean, I know everybody sees different things differently, but you know, I was putting in brackets, no pause, you know, because it was literally going straight into the conversation. So have a look and have a think about it. Right.
Sorry, just to jump in, I know I keep going on about sales, but it's just such a good example of stuff we see there. And I'm sort of saying, you know, what we tend to get people not to do what we do want them to do. We do want people asking questions, but they're what we call insightful questions. It's that if you can ask us a question so well that the customer has got no choice but to pause, consider, and respond, because the question is that good, then you're doing some really good stuff. You know, so actually that is the tactics. It's just whoa, Jack, that's really good. I have to think about that. And that's a genuine, I have to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and you started off with we want to build a relationship. So Faith, if we were sat here in 3 years' time and we'd got a really good business relationship, you know, buying the apples, everything's really hunky-dory, what sort of stuff would I have been doing to achieve that? Whoa. Not used to being asked. People aren't used to being asked that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she'll really have to sit back and go, whoa.
Makes you pause, consider, then respond.
So the deliveries will have to be on time, and the quality will never be an issue, and you'll package it so that, you know, and you just go, cool. Anything else? And you do a couple of anything else's, and then you really turbocharge. You go, well, actually, our insight is showing that people are responding to this particular flavor of apple. Oh, I didn't know that. And I'm supposed to be the Apple expert. Well, no, I am, because I sell them. So let me share this research with you, taking it into another level. And you are getting them to think. That's what good salespeople do. They get their customers to think. So then the deal's done and the negotiation's easier.
No, that's it. The other thing about that, getting the right question, is that the focus is then on them, the individual. They're thinking about their answer to give the answer. But that pause, consider, respond is also to think, well, why are they asking that question? All right, because there's a reason behind everything. Why are they asking that particular question? Yeah, there's answers to it. Okay, but so it kind of gives you an element and armor when they're actually asking that type of question.
They're asking to help, Phil. That's why salespeople ask questions like that. I know we disagree on some things.
Well, it's not that. There's always that sort of difference, isn't there, between you know, our experience, procurement and sales. You know, there is. It's just, and I don't know what it is. It's kind of interesting to see. It's interesting to experience. But that's why we need to practice more. You know, and there needs to be
That's perfect. Well, hopefully.
You should work in partnership. You're working collaboratively. What chapter are you at the book? Sorry, we digress.
Yeah, I'm going to cut that bit out. Right, on that note, okay, I'm going to call it an end. Well done, Jack. Well done, Faith. Great to practice our negotiation skills, okay? Particularly when we can practice with purpose. So what we'll do is we'll call it an end then. So the rest of you who are watching and yourselves, go back and have another look. There are things that we obviously missed, things that we picked up, see what you've done as well. And with that in mind, keep practicing. All the best.
Ollie, thanks very much. Thank you. It was nice
you
to
very
meet you.
much
It's
for
good to
having
see
me
you
here.
again, Phil.
So, yeah.
Nice to see you all.
Thank you. Bye.